Thank you. The Chair now recognizes Mr. Costa from California for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ranking Member Keating. I've got a number of questions. First of all, let me begin with weapons to Ukraine. Clearly, we've done an incredible job, but obviously more work needs to be done for, I think, for ourselves and NATO to ensure that this counteroffensive is successful. The Ukraine has repeatedly requested cluster munitions, including dual-purpose improvised conventional munitions, and I'm not going to go through the acronym, but a host of other factors. Where are we on that? And I know we've struggled with the F-16s, and I know that's in progress, but right now they need these dual purposes, improved conventional munitions. Where are we?
Congressman, on I refer to it as DPICMs for short.
That's fine.
On this issue, the military advice that we have received is that they would make a difference on the battlefield, that they would be effective against dug-in Russian positions. There are two factors that weigh heavily in the decision-making. The one is that, Congress has actually legislated a restriction on transfer of these munitions with a dud rate above 1%. So the congressional
Well, if it's our responsibility, we can deal with that. I'm not looking for excuses. We know they would be effective. So you're saying that we have to act?
Well, right now there is legislation that restricts the transfer.
I heard you.
And then the second piece is the question of allies' reaction and alliance.
Then what you're saying is we're in a standstill until we make changes on the legislation, until we get support with our allies. Is that the answer? I've got other questions I want to ask. That's the answer?
I think it would be important for us to understand where members of Congress are on this issue.
Well, okay, let's move on. We'll take that and follow up. Germany's national security strategy. Last week, Germany published its first national security strategy. Document takes kind of a broad view at major threats facing Germany. The strategy calls broad goals to increase defense spending and deploy more capable, robust armed forces. What's your impression of the strategy? Have you looked at it? The goals? Is this aspirational or is it realistic?
So I think, in general, the strategy, we're reviewing the strategy, but we've been quite like-minded with Germany and a lot of the issues.
Okay, but the bottom line, is this aspirational or is this, can they achieve this? Is it realistic?
Are you talking about the defense spending?
Yeah, that's been a problem as well with Germany.
So far, they laid out a very impressive plan for increased defense spending, but we have yet to see it materialize.
So the proof is in the pudding. Okay, let me move to Armenia. Clearly, Azerbaijan has no intention of following through with the Minsk Accord, and Russia is not going to, they can't abide by any international rules that they previously committed to. The Lachin corridor continues to be closed to Nagorno-Karabakh. And the blockade exists. Simply put, Armenians are suffering. What's our effort to try to deal with this?
I can share my perspective as a Defense Department official who handles this part of the world. First of all, I have to credit Secretary Blinken and National Security Council leadership for the work that they are doing to try to actually achieve a successful peace process.
No, I know that's fine, but what are we doing to deal with the blockade on the Lachin corridor?
And so that, those peace negotiations are the path to stability and peace.
So where are we on this? I mean, Azerbaijan has no intention of following through. They haven't followed through on their previous agreements. And we sure as hell can't expect Russia.
So in terms of the peace negotiations, we actually are cautiously optimistic that we're making some progress.
I'd like to talk offline on what your optimism is and why.
Absolutely.
I've got 49 seconds now, please. I want to talk about burden sharing and defense spending. The Vilnius summit that's coming up includes making 2% of the GDP target a spending floor rather than a ceiling. However, we know some of the European countries have struggled to reach the 2% historically, and this goes back 3 administrations, back to the Bush administration. The pace of their military procurements has led to delays in spending appropriated funds, And finally, NATO countries close to reaching 2% increased funding, I think is coming as a one-off thing. In other words, one-off supplemental funding packages instead of an increased annual funding. Where do you think we can make some progress in the summit coming up?
So we are seeing progress, slow progress, too slow progress, and increased allied defense spending. I think for the summit specifically, it's with a stronger defense investment pledge, and we agree with that we should set 2% as the floor for allied defense spending. And in addition to that, we're working to ensure there's also language in there that aims to go higher than 2%, because we'll need more than 2% in our estimation for allies to be able to have the money to provide
No, absolutely,
capabilities that we
absolutely.
need.
Mr. Chairman, my time's expired, but I do want to follow up. Chairman Moran and I were in in Stockholm this weekend, meeting with Swedish officials about their ability to become a part of NATO. And I want to find out what we're prepared to do in the upcoming summit to assist Sweden in its ability to become a part of NATO. It's critical. Thank you.